What is station training? Ken Ramirez defines station training, or a station, as an assigned position for an animal that has been designated by a trainer. The first snake in today's video is a Morelia Bredli hatched in 2017. His name is Captain Pike. He has previously been target trained. That is a finished behavior for him. Today he is seeing this portable tub with perch for the first time. I want to teach him to use it as a designated station. Since he has already been target trained, I am using that learned behavior to teach him to station. I am having him follow the target to what I want him to learn is his station. Eventually, I should be able to eliminate use of the target, and he should relocate upon presentation of the station itself, as it will become a visual cue for him to shift. Stations come in really handy when managing multiple animals at once because you can ask each animal to go to their assigned station and wait. It is also useful when working with a single animal. You can use the station itself as a cue for the animal to move from its current location to the station, and you can use the station as a spot for the animal to wait while you do enclosure maintenance or attend to other tasks. I find it especially useful for snakes. It gives them physical exercise outside of their enclosure and mental stimulation, while at the same time, I can safely manage cleaning and enclosure maintenance. For snakes who are already habituated to people and are already used to being handled, this just provides an additional activity for them, and it's something fun for the keeper, trainer, or pet owner to do with their snakes. For snakes who are not habituated to people, who are not used to being handled, or for snakes that cannot be handled at all, station training is a useful tool to have available for management. Now that Captain Pike is on his station and eating, I can leisurely clean his enclosure. I'm showing that activity in fast forward mode here, and there are times when I wish I could really do chores that quickly. Once the snake has finished his meal, I want him to shift voluntarily back into his enclosure. I am not forcing this unless I need to intervene for safety reasons. Captain Pike has the choice and control to remain out or go inside his enclosure. I have found that by providing snakes an environment with opportunities meaningful to them, allowing them the choice to engage with that environment or not, giving them the autonomy to make some decisions about their own activity, and interfering as little as possible creates a calm and confident animal habituated to people and dynamic activity around them. They are hopefully forming positive associations with their keepers, trainers, and pet owners, and at the very least are not forming negative ones. The snakes I have trained in this manner are less reactive and less fearful in general. Remember that behavior is how an organism reacts in response to a stimulus, and that the ABCs of training don't have to be complicated. In Captain Pike's session just now, the antecedent was the presentation of the target. The behavior was Captain Pike following the target to the station, and the consequence was receiving a food reward as a reinforcer. I will repeat this sequence with him several times while making sure pleasurable experiences accompany it and that unpleasant experiences are avoided, so that he forms positive associations with the activity and begins to perform the behavior on his own with minimal prompting. At that point, it will become what we call a finished behavior. Captain Pike will then have learned 2 finished behaviors, targeting and stationing. Him knowing how to do both of these things not only gives me options for activities to do with him for exercise and fun, but also gives me valuable strategies to use in his management that are the least intrusive and minimally aversive possible. Animals trained to perform voluntary behaviors, to voluntarily participate in their own management, and who are habituated to the environment and people involved in those activities will be safer animals to work with than those who are not, because stress, fear, and reactivity will be absent or minimized. The second snake in this video is a Morelia Bredli hatched in 2018. His name is Ronon. He has not been with me very long, and for those who watched our video about the Colorado Springs Repticon back on December 7th and 8th, Ronon is the snake that I partnered with all weekend for the 2 classes I taught and for the educational outreach at my booth. He ended up coming home with me. He was produced locally by Andy Watson, as was Captain Pike, the other snake that was in the beginning of the video. Ronon is used to people and handling. He is used to coming out of his enclosure on his own and exploring around the general vicinity. He has had 1 meal since coming home with me, which was given to him as a reinforcer for his one and only target training session. Today is Ronon's first station training session, and this will be his 2nd meal here. As you can see, he was given the choice and control to decide if he wanted to come out of his enclosure or not. He chose to come out, but he did not make the best choice as to his route. Why use the large, wide-open door when you can flatten yourself to squeeze between the door and the hinges? Anyway, he makes it out with a clear destination in mind, the desk. He seems to like roaming around all the clutter on my desk. At this point, the station is meaningless to him. He has never seen it before, so it's a novel item. However, he has no associations with it, either positive or negative. It's a neutral stimulus. The following is one method for introducing a snake to station for use with a snake like Ronon, who is already used to being loose, being handled, and is not fearful of people. If the snake does not fit into those categories, then station training would be initiated in a different manner. But since Ronon is already habituated to me, I pick him up and place him onto the station. Remember, it's a neutral stimulus at this point, and he would rather explore the desk, which has been reinforcing for him in the past. For this reason, I move the station to an area with less distractions for him and immediately feed him while he is on the station. This is the first step in teaching him to associate the station with something positive, rewarding, and reinforcing. Once Ronon has finished eating, I place the station, along with Ronon, back in front of his enclosure where he can choose to enter his normal habitat or go somewhere else. Usually with a full belly, the snakes tend to want to go into familiar places to rest and digest, so that works to our advantage when training. For this session with Ronon, the antecedent was him being placed on the station. The behavior was him remaining on the station, and the consequence was the food reward. Snakes do well at associative learning, so once Ronon has gone through this activity a few times, he should start to perform the stationing behavior on his own with less and less prompting from me.